Hi, I'm Keith with Personal Fitness Systems and with Bria, one of our trainers with Personal Fitness Systems. I'm going to be showing you the progression on when I do an assessment with a person, how that works into a bodywork session, and then how that works into a kinesio taping session. So with 3 different assessments, I'm going to show how her shoulders and her head are forward, and we want to bring that back into better alignment. So her hands are inwardly rotated like this on her hips. That's one of our assessments to see that the shoulders are rotated in, which does this. It rotates the shoulders in, and then her head goes down, and then her head comes up. The brain will right the head, and so then her ear should be forward of her shoulder. We call forward head. And so when I do an assessment here, I can see that her ear is 2 inches forward of her shoulder, or this particular part of her shoulder, which we lose as a base point. And then another assessment, I'll have Bria go ahead and dip your head down. I'm feeling for her spine if it opens and closes appropriately. Go ahead and bring your head back up. We'll do it one more time. And then come back up. So I'm feeling to see if her spine opens and closes appropriately, and it does not. So she has a flattened spine, which is usual with sustained loading, having the head forward. So these muscles get into a very tight position. So I'm going to have her on the table in a certain position to start the process, to reverse this process. All right, I'll see you on the table. All right, so now we're going to reverse that or process the forward head process by lengthening out this muscle here, the trapezius muscle. We're going to also help to stretch the pec muscles in the front, and then we're going to help to shorten muscles that are in a lengthened position, the lower trapezius and the infraspinatus muscle. We also have some muscles that are in a shortened phase, the teres muscles and the latissimus muscles. So we're going to do a number of muscles with the different, we call muscle energy techniques, and then some myoskeletal alignment, myofascial techniques. So what I like to do is I like to start with the arm on the side, and then I'm going to just bring her down and just let her feel the tension, and then I'll bring the arm back and behind her. Some people can't get to this point, and if they can't, then we'll start in a different position that's more comfortable. So what I'm going to have Bria do is I'm going to go to that barrier, and Bria just go ahead and push against my hand. I'm going to resist her push, and then rest. And we'll do that 2 more times. Go and pull up 10% of your max, and then rest. And then I go back and I pull down just a little farther to the next barrier. And I shouldn't feel pain. She shouldn't feel any kind of pain. And then pull up 1 more time, and then rest. And just a nice little tug there. And if you look on Eric Dalton's website, www.ericdalton.com, he does a great demonstration of this technique, which is where I learned all of these things. So, and then I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of traction up in here, and then Bria, go ahead and push down gently into my hand, and then rest. I'm just going to bring that scapula, that shoulder blade, closer to the middle, because she's up like this. We want to get that flattered onto the back. And then 1 more time, pull down, and then rest. Good. And then I'm just going to bring her arm over here, and I'm going to do a little bit of trigger point, and then myofascial release on this lengthened infraspinatus muscle, or the shoulder blade muscle over here. So the reversal process starts with really lengthening out these shortened muscles, and then we'll get into stimulating the lengthened muscles, like the serratus muscle on the ribs. And I usually do that either sideline or face up. And we'll get into that a little bit later, another technique. But this is the beginning of the reversal process with getting a number of shoulder girdle muscles to reverse their orientation. And now we're going to move into the kinesio taping presentation. Okay, thank you. All right, now we're going to start the kinesio taping process to reverse the forward head syndrome. With her shoulders being forward, rotated forward, her pecs are inwardly rotating her arms. That makes her head look down, and then the brain rights itself, picks her head back up, and it creates an excessive curvature in her neck, and then creates an excessive curvature in the upper part of the back, and then flattens out the spine, as you can see right here, and then rotates the scapular shoulder blade out. So we want to reverse that process, and one of the first things I like to do is work with the neck to give her some more support, and so gravity doesn't keep on straining these muscles and keep on flattening the spine. So we always use alcohol when we do the kinesio taping to clean up the skin. It's always cold, so you never get really used to it. So we're going to start this process by cleaning the skin. We're going to do a neck taping, called a functional correction. So we're going to help the muscles to pull them back, but she's not going to be restricted in her range of motion. So one of the first tapings I do, go ahead and bring your head down as far as you can to your, yep, there you go. And her range of motion is restricted, but that's because of the orientation of the muscles as they are. So I will go down to the bottom end of where her spine is flat, go a little bit past that. We're going to put our anchor right below that, so our therapeutic zone will be fully from the area where her spine is flat and up into the past where her neck is rotated up. So we want to be able to pull those muscles back, helping the muscles to shorten in that area and help to close the spine down just a little bit up here, giving support here. So closing this and then helping to support here, so when we do more body work, it's going to help us to open up the spine a bit more. So she's got her head down, fully in a stretch position. I'll apply the tape. Now this kind of taping is good for more of a chronic situation. If I have a motor vehicle accident, more of a trauma, I'm going to use 2 strips of tape on both sides. So one strip here, then I'll do a space correction to help lift the pressure off of here. In this case, with more of a chronic situation, I'm going to use this we call a Y taping, which will surround all these muscles. And we apply about 50% tension on tape, we call it. We should meet at the top up there. And we'll do a space correction over here. That'll help to lift up that section. Depends on how much pressure you put on there, how deep I want the brain to sense the pressure and orientation and change in orientation of the muscles and connective tissue. And so now, this space correction, we'll put it right over the vertebrae. It'll help muscle attachments as well. So I put light pressure down on the spine versus we call it mechanical correction, which is deeper pressure, which will affect different receptors and change the orientation differently. So we just want a space correction to get this particular part to lift up, so that when she brings her head back, bring your head back, Bria. So you can see it's a nice lift in here, and this is lengthening. This is closing down this particular spine that's open, and then giving some support to the muscles along the spine here. That is a neck taping to help reverse the forward head process. Now we're going to do some muscles on the shoulder girdle directly to help with the process as well. All right.